Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading on this glorious Monday afternoon. I have Fluffy with me, fast asleep. She's in disgrace, been going over the fence into the neighbour's garden and chasing their poor cat. Very naughty for fat Fluffy to be doing such a thing. First time she's ever done such a thing. So anyway, we are here with the Urban Tarot. And we want to look at something that is not an urban legend but has now been proved to be true according to Robert Jobson in his book. And this is that the story that the Queen, the late Queen, had the library at Sandringham swept for bugs before the Sandringham summit with Harry. And when I say bugs, I don't mean cockroaches and woodworm and things like that. I mean listening devices, recording devices. That she was so suspicious of Harry and Meghan and their plans and their affiliates, perhaps companies that they were dealing with, making deals with media companies, that she felt it necessary to do this. Horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. Can you imagine having your grandchild over for a chat about their future and having to sweep your house for bugs before you can actually have that conversation, and ban basically his wife from having any part in that conversation remotely from Canada? That is the situation we are having to deal with the Urban Tarot. Little 5-card reading. I want to know what was going through her mind. What was she thinking? What was she feeling when this happened? The poor old thing was having a tough time with Prince Philip at that stage. She herself wasn't in the best form and just dreadful. Were they up to no good, Harry and Meghan? Were they up to no good on the day, trying to record the meeting for posterity to be released on Netflix or Oprah or wherever? And was anything found? Was anything suspicious found on the day? And our little outcome for this reading is going to be, are they going to try their luck again? A lot of speculation that they tried their luck at the Jubilee, and I did reading on that at the time. Got one of those mixed message outcomes that sometimes happens, but we're going to see, is this going to be something, a stunt they're going to try and pull at the coronation? And okay, cards are ready now. Urban Tarot is flying all over the place, and we have to remind you, it's just tarot for entertainment and fun. It's all speculation, it's all opinion, and it's archetypal energy that we read here, because we're dealing with, of course, the royal family, an archetypal family, and disclaimer in the box below. So please read it to form your own opinions about all of this and all the other subjects that I read on here on this channel. And let's get to it. Got our 5 cards out, got our underlying energy, which is the Chariot. The Chariot is William. That's interesting. The Chariot. And who's shown up at the next underlying one? The Knight of Pentacles. I'm sure he's not a gourmet chef. I can't imagine for 1 second that he is, but that's Harry energy. Knight of Discs is Prince Harry. We have the 2 brothers here. The one who's in charge with the Chariot. I think that this all came from William. That this was William saying, I don't trust him, making it happen. That's what the Chariot is doing. Gourmet chef, not really. There was that sighting of them at some very fancy, I'm sure it was a Japanese restaurant in Montecito, one of those tasting menus, and has had to go with his steak or burger from somewhere else, like a child. But I would certainly not let any child of mine behave like that. And I'm sure that the vast majority of you wouldn't either. Can you imagine doing something as vulgar as that, and you were a prince of the realm? It's mind-boggling. So not a gourmet chef, not at all. But anyway, we've got William and we've got Harry. And William is the one who's in control of the situation. William is the one who's on it, who's motivating, calling the cops or whoever. We saw him around about then he was off to MI5. Forgive me if I've got the wrong institution or organization, but he was there. He was at that spy headquarters where he was, it was very interesting timing. It was around the time that all kinds of weird things were going on in the royal household, the trust that Harry and Meghan were at that time sharing with William and Catherine, all kinds of strange stuff afoot. So I think we have, we know who's behind all of this. Let's look at the situation now. We got the Sun in reverse. This is, the Sun in reverse is, it is sneakiness, because upright it's clarity, it's a light being shone on something. You know exactly what's going on. What you see is what you get with the Sun. But when the Sun is in reverse, you get shadows, you get sneakiness. It goes into moon territory, deception, subterfuge, doubt. You're suspicious about something. It's also unhappiness. It's just sorrow, the Sun in reverse. And I think that this man here is thinking about his childhood, thinking about his little brother there, how happy things once were and how sad they have got now. So William's energy is the energy that's really powering through in this reading. But a lesser energy, Meghan's, of course, she is the Sun, she's Leo. She was the one that perhaps was the mastermind behind all of this attempt to record stuff, speculating, of course, that she was the mastermind and that they were attempting to record things. But there is the Sun in reverse, far, far away, but still conspiring, possibly and definitely in this energy that I am reading for fun. Let's see how the Queen felt on the day, or because of this Seven of Cups, and it's called debauch. Yeah, sort of. It's not that self-indulgent. It's more, well, it can be with them. I think she felt with them that they thought everything was possible. They could grab anything, grasp anything, have anything, consume anything, do anything. No limits. When you're talking about debauch, you're talking about not having boundaries, not having being reined in by a sense of decency or moral outrage or anything like that. You just absolutely do whatever you feel like. And Harry's got a history with that. Vegas comes to mind. There have been many other accounts of him behaving in a very debauched way. It doesn't literally mean that in this sense, except that I think that she felt that they didn't have boundaries and were capable of doing anything that they wanted to do that would please them, that would give them what they wanted. They felt almost that they were invincible, they were untouchable with that Seven of Pentacles card, because it is about possibilities and it is about being invincible, thinking that you are invincible, imagining, deluding yourself that you are invincible. How were they on the day? Were they trying to record this? Were they up to something? What do we get? We get Ace of Swords. Absolutely. That's a big yes. An ace upright, traditionally in tarot, for those of you learning, yes. If you're asking a yes-no question. And the Ace of Swords is very much about messages and communications. So yes. I would say absolutely. It's quite a threatening and sinister depiction of the Ace of Swords in what... I think I've said all I need to say about that. Looking for clarity, because that's what the Ace of Swords is about. Truth. Wanting people to see the truth. This is how mean they are. This is how wicked they are, the royal family. This is how nasty they are to us. This is how horrible William is, and this is how nasty the Queen is. And poor Harry having to go there alone and fight for me, and fight for money, and fight for half in, half out. Yeah. So, was anything found? Anything untoward, suspicious, dodgy? We've got the Two of Pentacles. I could literally say 2 devices were found. It's quite an interesting Two of Pentacles, this, because it has a kind of old style tape. Do you remember those tapes, cassette tapes we used to record music on and stuff? And if you were in a spy movie in the old days, you get those little miniature ones and you'd put them around Not that I ever did that, I have to say, but in a spy movie, those are the little kinds of things that you'd find hidden in one of those old-fashioned telephones or something, and it would start recording on the tape when somebody lifted the receiver. In the good old days, the non-digital days, I can see that there is possibility here of some attempt. It's interesting, we have a woman on her Pilates ball, very often used for pregnancy and things like that, back, just back issues and strengthening, all the things that have to be strengthened. It's interesting that we've got this woman kind of there, and we got them all there, and she is, there's a mirror. It's just a strange energy that's coming off that card. Very strange. So I say there is a possibility, and we're talking speculating here, of course. There is, in my opinion, from that card, there is a possibility that they found something. Definitely. And are they going to try the stunt again in future? Coronation springs to mind. If they did try this stunt, are they going to try this stunt again? And this is Fortitude, and it is the nine of, I have to check. I think it's the 9 of Wands, but I just have to check with this little tarot deck. It sometimes throws me because I don't know the symbols. Okay, well, here I am again, and yes, it is the 9 of Wands. It's the 9 of Wands in reverse, and the reason why I had to go and look in the little book is because, unbeknownst to me, but definitely known to those of you who are New Yorkers who happen to be watching this, this is apparently, according to the little book, the main post office building in New York. And a post office, what do we have? Messages. And apparently on the building, above the colonnade, it reads, is an inscription, and it says, neither snow nor rain, nor heat nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. Very interesting that a 9 of Wands card has come out that is talking about messages and communication, posting messages, because it doesn't normally. It really doesn't. 9 of Wands is normally about somebody who's got their guard up, who is making sure that they are protected, that nobody can gain access to them because they're exhausted, they're finished, they're wiped out, they're done, and they have to put those barriers up around them. The Wounded Warrior card. In the reverse, those barriers are down, they're vulnerable, they've fallen over, they've let go, they can't anymore. So there is a possibility in the fact that the card is in reverse that Harry and Meghan can't succeed at this in future, because they have to give up. It's very much a card of giving up, trying something over and over and over, but being embattled, being bruised and battered, and eventually feeling that you can't do it anymore. So there is a possibility, in that card, and the energy of that card, that they just think, oh, well, it's not worth it anymore, we're going to give it up. But I have to say that this tarot deck always has a message for me, a fumble, a slip, a go and look at the book moment. It's a very interesting tarot deck. It communicates at all kinds of levels. And this is a very unexpected twist, that in this card, for me as a reader, is a post office where messages are posted, and it's in reverse. And reverse can mean shadow, can mean sneaky behavior, can mean that kind of thing. So there could be some discussion about it, some conversation about how can we do this. I'm speculating, it's wild speculation, and I have to remind you that this is just tarot for fun, and we are just reading energy here, and there of course is that disclaimer in the box below, and please read it. But there is some degree of menace here, but we have this one in charge. We have the Chariot in charge of this situation, and whatever they're up to, whatever they're trying to do, the royal family was certainly on it on the day, was expecting something, went looking for it, and possibly again in the energy of this card, and I'm speculating wildly again, possibly with that Two of Pentacles, found something. So that's your reading. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.